500k service.
Yep.
So it's just a general checkover.
It's just a general checkover. So anytime you fit suspension of any kind, doesn't matter, even if you're just putting new leaf springs in, even if you put a diff in, all your bolts need rechecking.
Yeah.
So it's a recheck. Once that's done, general servicing will be general. When you do a service, like any service, go around, do a general check. That's it. And service, keep that OEM. I think a big one we've seen lately is failure to service wheel bearings.
Yep.
There's a reason why the Toyota manual says 20,000 Ks.
Yeah.
20,000 Ks, you must do your wheel bearings. That's a big one, you know, and that's why things like wheel spacers cause massive catastrophe, super wide wheels, service wheel bearings.
Yeah.
They're great, they don't have issues, but service.
I did a lot of research on this to actually, you know, you're going to spend a lot of money on these trucks when you do a build like this. So I just wanted to do a lot of research, and everything was pointing back to Jmacx to get this system done. I'm actually really keen to get it out in the bush now, get it on the beach, get it towing. I'll be doing some reviews later on, probably 3 months time to 6 months time. You know, will be before and after of towing the caravan, and yeah, I'm just really keen to sort of get it out there and give it a go.
And I think,
and give you some feedback as well.
Yeah, I think too, from the customer perspective, and you know, you've gone the 4495 with the 300 stretch.
No, I did.
Oh, yours is bolting?
Yeah, bolting.
Oh, sorry.
4.2.
Okay, 4.2. So from a customer's perspective, as we want to carry more weight in these cars, that's great, but your loading needs to be correct.
Yeah.
And what we see is people going with their weight, pushing their weight back, further and further back all the time. And companies like Norwell even changed their canopy design because of people's loading was having an effect on their car. So it's creating a fulcrum point and taking the weight off the front of the car. So, you know, loading of these cars is important, especially as you, and I think what people's misperception is, Toyota built the car. They said it's 3.3 tonne. We have 5 people in the car, a bull bar, Toyota make a bull bar, a winch, side rails, and a tray, and put 350 kilo on the ball. All that within 3.3 tonne. Now you say to me, I want to carry 4.2 tonne, that's another 900 kilos. Where's that 900 kilos go?
From the actual back.
It does.
Including your tow ball weight.
It's clear, and the tow ball weight is multiplied by 1.4 on the rear axle. So that's where people's kind of get a little bit of misconception. They go, but I can carry 4.2. You've got to be conscious of where you load it. Hence things like chassis extensions come into play.
Because what I did was, we're only towing to 2.7, and I don't think we'll even get to a 3.5 tonne capacity caravan. Where it's only myself, my wife, my boy, and 2 dogs. So we don't need a 20-foot, 22-foot caravan. We might go to 20, maybe 21. But what I wanted to do, I love my forward driving, so I still wanted to be able to get through the tracks, you know, didn't want the extension. I still want to go to 4.2 because I wanted to get one of the tinny on the roof. So what I've done, after I finished with accelerated off-grid touring, so I put the fridges in, all the electronics, the batteries, the canopy's on, the roof rack's on, I filled it up with fuel, so we've got the long-range tank plus the auxiliary 49 litre. So 234 litres of fuel, I went straight to Weybridge. So have a guess what I came in at?
3.8.
3.38.
Oh, okay, it's empty, without all your gear in it.
Without all the gear in it,
okay,
so I forgot to mention that.
Yeah. So nearly 3.4?
3.4. So basically I wanted to have a base gross weight of what I am. So that still gives me 800 kilos of payload.
Yes.
Then you got, obviously said, you got your minus your bodies, the people on board, 2 dogs obviously, and that also had a carton of beer in the fridge, and the freezer had some frozen food in it. So my calculation, and running off your website, you do have a calculator on there, and I was a little bit sceptical on whether that's going to give me a true figure or not. And I was on the ball.
Okay.
I come in, I wanted 500 kilos.
Yeah, we try to make it as accurate as possible, but it's also very difficult. And we get customers who speculate their weight. Sometimes what we'll see is a customer will come in and go, oh look, I'm super heavy. We'll set the car up to be super heavy. They get the car and they go, oh, there's something not right. And we'll go, okay, give us a little bit of car, put over Weybridge, and we'll go, well, what you expect, your miles from it. Oh yeah, but I was going to do all those extras later, and I'm going, we can customise the car to do what you want, but to get the best out of it, you have to work within a spec range. A good example is a customer comes to us and says, I want a 4200 leaf. That's great. You need to be constant 600 kilos, and they're thinking 600 kilos, that's me, my wife, No, 600 kilos in the car for the GVM because leaf springs need weight.
Yeah.
You can't get a 4.2 and drive around empty. ARB and all those will tell you, if you put it in, oh, you need to carry a constant load because that's how leaf springs work. You can't, there's no unicorn leaf springs. They all work the same. We see guys try to go down the parabolic space. Parabolics don't carry weight. They just fail. They don't work.
Yeah.
To carry weight on a leaf spring, that's great, but they need constant load. So that's where your coils stand out. You can vary your load. You don't need to worry about that. But in saying that too, we will still set the car up to suit the requirements. So it's important for customers to have a plan. You can always change coils.
Yeah, well, I was interested to see that you could go to the 3.9 GVM.
Yeah.
And then later on down the track, you find that you get adding more stuff, or you've gone from a dog box to a canopy.
Yep.
And you can convert the GVM
Correct.
to a 4.2.
That's something I suppose with our products is we make them upgradable so that you can, because a lot of customers will come to us and say, look, I only need 3.9, that's all I need. No worries, they do that. And then they come back and they go, heck, we're overweight.
Yeah.
No probs. Add the appropriate parts to bring it up to spec and you can upgrade to 4.2. So we do that. In the 300 series we do it. You can buy suspension now, come back later, put in the appropriate springs, go to 3.8. You're going to go 4.2, add the differential and the rear trailing arms and the stronger bits we need to do it.
Yeah.
You can upgrade it to 4.2.
Does anyone else out on the market offer that?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so, but I think for me, a lot of our customers buy a Landcruiser and they'll keep it for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not a I change my car every 2 years window. They go,
even my accountant said I'm going to keep this one forever.
well, I get guys come and say, this is the last car that I'm buying.
Yeah.
I'm about to retire. I'm going to travel Australia. It's the last car I buy. The amount of customers that come through here with GVMs, and this is not knocking anyone else's GVM, but they're hog-tied. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And I go, there's nowhere to go. You can't do what you need with that vehicle. You need to buy a new car.
Yeah.
And that's problematic for them. So what we try to do is build future-proof your car.
Yeah.
And when we talk people into product, and I see it sometimes where I get a call from a customer who says, oh, I went to one of your facilities, but they're trying to talk me into the big end of town. And I go, okay, no worries, but what is it that you're looking for? And when you actually look at what he's looking for, I go, that would be your safest option, because if you go down here, you might limit yourself and have to have a problem later.
Yeah.
Like let's say you say, I've only got a 2,700 kilo van. In 3 or 4 years, you might go, I've decided to buy a 3.5 ton van. Do you have the capacity to keep your car and still do that?
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing is customers change. They change their style of travel. They go, oh, I'm traveling light. Then their missus chucks a flip and says, I'm not getting in and out of that camper, or I want a caravan. So, but does that then now force you to change your car?
Yeah, exactly.
A car you've spent a lot of money and a lot of time.
Yeah, there's
often there's attachment to it.
You read the story all the time where they've done the GVM. They think they've done their homework. They haven't quite spoken to the professionals, but they think they've wrote it all down on paper. They put it over the weighbridge, and it's like, oh, well, they've got to sell the car or sell the caravan.
I'll give you a very common problem. Okay, so a customer goes and gets a GVM, leaf spring GVM, nothing wrong with it, from XYZ, and it's springs and shocks. Then they go and they put it over weighbridge and they find out that they're over the axle capacity that the GVM that they've got has, because they're using the factory axle. So they go, oh, hang on a minute, I'll go out and buy a Jmacx housing, that'll fix my problem. No, it won't. It will give you a stronger housing, give you all the physical, but legally it gives you nothing. Because the problem is, your rear axle capacity is set by your GVM provider. Not even an engineer can increase it, because what dictates rear axle load? One, it's dynamic testing, making sure that the car can brake adequately, springs to carry the extra load, shocks to control the extra load.
Yeah.
So there's a whole heap that goes.
It's all married together.
It's all married together. Load rated wheels and tyres. So there's this whole package. So just going, I'll go and get XYZ, put springs and shocks. Oh, now I'm over axle load, I'll go and buy it if it doesn't work like that. And people go, oh, well, the engineer cannot override the GVM. If you try to change that, then that GVM is no longer valid.
Yeah.
So what you've got to remember is the GVM you buy is what's been tested and certified and approved by a specific company. Once you change it, so you can add a diff, no problems, but you don't get the legal outcome for it.
Yeah.
And that's something to remember. The other one that people misconstrue is tyre size. If you get a GVM and the tyre size says 285, there's no 7% rule on that. You can't go to 315, you've got to stay within 2% because all of the brake testing was done on that tyre. And they go, yeah, but that applies to new cars. Yes, because as we know, the new car has a low GVM and small tyres, and they say, well, we think, and they go, well, there's an allowance. We're pushing past those allowances.
Yeah.
So by adding springs and shocks to a car, and then adding to 600 or 900 kilos, there's a compromise.
Yeah.
So when we do SSN testing, the tyre must be within 2%.
Yeah.
That's the legal requirement. So this thinking about, I can put bigger tyres because I could do it on a standard car does not apply to GVMs. A lot of people are getting pulled over and caught out on that, where they're going, the tyre size on your car doesn't match the GVM compliance. And they're going, oh, but I was told yes, but not under the GVM banner.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're the sorts of things that people
so much
get.
To know. So
yeah,
you know, guys, if you want to have, if you have any questions at all, you know, give these guys a call. I dealt with Taylor through the whole scenario. So I was actually over in Port Hedland. My truck was here. I didn't even see the truck. I just did all my dealings over the phone with you guys, and I trusted what was going to get done, and it got done. And you actually today you've answered a lot more questions that I was even prepared to ask that I didn't know about. So I think I don't know. Is there anything else that you reckon we should touch base on?
I think probably the biggest one on everything is being able to not have too much customization to your cars when it comes to remote travel.
Yeah.
You know, as much as you can keep that car workable by mechanics and dealers, that is the best outcome. So don't, you know, customization is not good for remote travel.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, you've got to keep it, you know, you've got to keep thinking about those sorts of things because, you know, and this is probably where we went with American trucks. American trucks, the mechanics in these remote areas don't have the knowledge or, you know, they're new. Yes, we see them in the city, but then there's going to be these limitations out in these areas because of it. So that'll all fix itself over time as more come through. But let's face it, everywhere you go, there's a Toyota dealer.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you go. The guys that work in these remote places, that's all they see all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, looking at keeping things as, you know, minimal customization as possible and reliable.
Cool, excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time, Jason.
No worries.
If you have any other questions that Jason didn't cover today, I'm pretty sure we covered just about everything. Hit the questions in the comments below, and I'll pass them on to Jason. We'll see if we can answer them for you. But,
easy done.
Thank you again for your time.
Thanks, Scott. No worries.
Yep. Right, end of day 4 travels for us. We left Comet Hotel this morning and went through Longreach to get out to Dar River. So there's one annoying flight at this stage. I'm sure there's going to be more. But this spot we stayed at in April a couple of years ago on the way from Sunny Coast, when we did a big trip from Sunny Coast to Port Hedland due to the COVID. Believe it or not, we stayed in this exact same spot. So, which is cool. No one else here. It's going to be a quiet night tonight, obviously, but this is our little spot. So, as you can see, it's just this nice flat little area here, right on the Dar River. Pretty sure that's the same fire pit we used last time. But we're going to actually showcase our own fire pit tonight. We've got to go get some firewood, obviously, but that's it there.
79's just parked there. And then just down here at the river, you can see that the ground, it can actually get quite muddy, I suppose, when it rains. It's dried out now. I suppose if you had a stand-up paddleboard, or you could go for a swim if you wanted to. And from memory, the sunset was quite good. Get the boy out for some exercise. We'll go get some fibre, we'll set up camp. I'll put the drone up in the air and once we set up camp and show this good little spot. Definitely recommend Dar River, D-A-R-R River on Wiki Camps. It's a pretty good spot. And you want to get into this Coast and Smoke, a company in Victoria we've teamed up with, and sensational couple. Spoke to them on the phone. They're classic. You've got to get into this sort of stuff. We've got this online as well, so get onto that. Coast and Smoke. This is all beef and reef and all sorts of stuff rubbed, so it's really good. All cooked over the Beach2Bush Barby. This is our setup for the night at Dar River. And all that sunset. Alright, well that's it. Tonight we're going to serve up this beautiful dinner. We're going to have some pasta and seafood and some veg. Day 5 tomorrow. We'll see where we're going to end up. I'm not sure yet. 500 k's that way. Look at that sunset. I just love this shit, eh? Cooking on the open fire. Lachie trying to... How's this, right? We've got an extension lead.
I just unconnected it, but it's not charging anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's connected there. And if you follow this all the way along there, he's trying to charge his iPad in the swag. Anyway, that's modern camping when you got kids. But hey, if you got this sort of shit, this setup, why not? See you tomorrow.